Rapper, what's going on, man? You ready for another year? What year is this for you?
I'm not going to answer that question because there's
on.
people how old I am.
Come on.
You never,
they all know when you went to the Rose Bowl.
You never ask an old broadcaster how old they are, or you always tell your wife they look beautiful. You know those rules.
Jeez, I don't know. We got a guy by the name of Jimmy B. He's been with us for a few years now. We still know how old he is, and he won't tell us for some reason. I don't get it. Just will not tell us. And we think he's in his 80s, but we're not sure.
Well, Rapper, the older you get, the more wiser you get, the more better of a broadcaster you get there, buddy.
The better stories you have.
Yes.
Stories. Hey, the stories grow. Ask Dan. We're getting better every year.
Yeah. Well, Dan's going to be 67 on Tuesday.
Yeah. And 67 and holding their Rapper.
Dan 67 is like the rest of us being 55.
Yeah.
I appreciate. Thank you so much. Wow. And Rapper, what I told Rock is it's a little bit of red wine, garlic, and olive oil every night. That'll keep you young.
Is that your secret?
That's it right there. It's the Italian secret right there. I gave it to you.
So
does it work on people?
Oh, it works. I guarantee it'll work. I'll take that guarantee back. It'll work.
All right, Rapper. So Big 12 Arizona State Sun Devils. How does that sound?
Yeah, what do you think of that? My blink is I'm going to have such a hard time. I can't. There should be an over and under how many times I say Pac-12.
Yeah.
That's going to happen for sure. But it's just I'm still a little bit bitter. I'm sure it'll come out in the broadcasting that that the conference screwed up this bad, that the university presidents for all the Pac-12 schools screwed up that bad, and really got run out of business. I mean, it's like having a good product. And you controlled the entire West Coast, and you got outmaneuvered by better business people with radio and TV contracts, and it's frustrating that things like the Rose Bowl go away, and some of the natural ties. What's exciting is some of the new ties and some of the new games that we'll get to play, and playing in different parts of the country, and obviously Manucci, you got to be excited. We'll be playing that purple team back there in Manhattan, Kansas. Mm-hmm. Texas Tech, some of the Texas schools will be fun. So, with anything comes change, and I just don't know what to expect, honestly, guys. I mean, it's such, so dialed in to the old coaches before they started moving around. You kind of had an idea what each coach was like, what Chip Kelly wanted to do, and you had an idea of, what Jonathan Smith was about, what his team culture and how they played, and everything's new for Kenny Dillingham, his staff, and us.
Well, let's talk about the staff. In reference, Arroyo, now the new offensive coordinator, comes from Las Vegas. Look at the staff overall. Have you seen in reference to how that has ascended on top, the play on the offensive and defensive side so far, Rapper, from what little you've seen like in spring ball and here leading up to tomorrow night's game?
I think that what they conceptually, I think a lot of it is what Kenny likes to do. I mean, Kenny likes to spread them out. He likes to play, in space when possible. You're going to see a lot of wide formations, and you're going to see also everybody come into tights. You guys have seen the last couple of years, everybody's going into these tight bunches inside the hashes are really tight and then exploding out within the route, trying to create some mismatches. So you see a lot of that. I like our wide receiver core. I think this group actually could be pretty solid. They've got some explosive guys on that group, Gilroy on one side and Jordan Tyson had a really solid year last year at Colorado. Young kid, had 5 touchdowns, 470 yards. So I think you'll see some of that, maybe that Oregon type influence. We have a quarterback who's really mobile. I don't know if you had a chance, Manucci, to see Levitt play but I've been pretty impressed by him. He's accurate with the ball and he's really mobile. I think he, as long as he just can as long as the coaches can give him the reads and he feels comfortable mentally, I think he could be really good. So we'll see what happens.
Rapper, do you feel that this team can make plays on the offensive side at every spot? I mean, deep to underneath. We always talk about deep to underneath, sideline to sideline. It seemed like last year they were limited, maybe the last couple of years. But now with Levitt's arm and the speed you talk about, can they hit the home run at any particular time on at least every play, you think?
I think they have the ability to go deep whenever they want. I went out to practice the other day and they went into kind of like a 7-on-7 period. First play out was play action boot, bomb, hit, went Z on a 9 route. They, I don't think they're going to be afraid to throw it deep. Last year they didn't have that capability. Nothing against Trenton Bourget, but if you look and broke your field down from the line of scrimmage going towards the defense, anything inside 25 yards is where you really played the ball to go.
Right.
You didn't play for a 40-yard pass. And I think defenses are going to have to, really protect the back end. I think we'll be able to blow it off. And if you can hit a couple deep ones or even show it, Dan, you're going to get all those deep crossers of those climb routes and things that come across the formation at different levels, between the backers and the safeties. All of those start to open up. And so there's two things at play, right? One, can you get a receiver to blow the top end of a defense off? Can you get different levels within the passing game? And then can your offensive line hold enough, or can you use play action? And I think when you have a quarterback who's mobile and can get on the perimeter, then you can buy yourself time to take some shots. And keep in mind, a lot of this is going to be set up, in my opinion, by a really strong group of running backs. You got Cameron Scadaboo back. He had 788 yards last year, played 50 snaps at quarterback. He had 8 punts. I mean, the kid did it all, but he lost 15 pounds. Ooh. He looks really good. He looks a lot lighter, but still physical. Kyson Brown's there. DeCarlos Brooks is back. He looks lighter. So, having a respectable running game should open up play action. And if you have quick wide receivers and they're coached, they should be coached really well, right? You got Kenny Dillingham, Marcus Arroyo, and then the guy we're not talking about is Hines Ward as a wide receiver coach. I mean, you got an NFL guy with Super Bowl experience running that room. I would anticipate that there's not many blown assignments and that group is really solid in their route running and their technique.
Jeff, is there a face yet of this organization, of this team, other than the coaching staff? Scadaboo, is he the guy, or is it a quarterback, wide receiver, somebody on defense that you think is going to step up?
Yeah, I think there's, I guess your question is kind of two parts, right? Yeah. Who's the face of it? I don't really think. I think Scadaboo is kind of the only guy that you would look at and go, okay, he's the name on offense, and then clearly from the defensive side. You'd probably have to go with Shamari Simmons. Okay. He was the number one tackler last year, 73 tackles. So those are the two guys on both sides of the ball. There's probably 10 or 12 guys that you want to see step up. If I was going to the game, I'll be at the game. But if you guys are just going to watch as a casual fan, watch the linebackers. Jordan Crook transferred in from Arkansas. Fasu transferred in from San Diego State. We got a guy named Elliott. He was second team. He had 929 plays at New Mexico State last year. And, these guys are all starters at their schools, and they're all transferring in here. So we don't know their names, but they played a lot of plays elsewhere. So it's not like, we got a lot of new guys and, they've never been out there when the lights have been turned on and they stepped in the white line. So, kind of excited to see that group work, that linebacking core. And, defensive line, I think, will be solid. I'm not sure, if we've got anybody that you look at that and go, wow, this guy's going to demand a double team, right? Do we have anybody that's just electric? No. So then you start thinking about, all right, how do we maintain gaps? How do we play within scheme? How do we bring pressure from different angles and different levels without tipping it? And can you bring pressure without blowing the other side of the defense and letting somebody go scot-free?
And speaking of that, in reference to taking care of the ball, Jeff, last year they were woeful at that. Do you feel this year, as far as built-in packages, you talk about the blitz, you talk about side adjusts, you talk about hot routes. Is Levitt a young man that understands that? And I know that Kenny really emphasized that in spring football. So will that be a market difference in this team as far as taking care of the ball, hopefully this fall?
Yeah, I mean, every coach preaches it, but it's Ken. That's what I was saying earlier. I think quarterbacks turn the ball over when there's ambiguity. Yeah. It's easier in a quarterback's mind where your reads are set, X, Y, recover to the back in the flat kind of a thing. And you can tell if a quarterback's mind's right by their eyes. Mm-hmm. Can he get his eyes in the right spot? Is he getting from read 1 to read 2? And, so far just watching the quarterbacks, they look like they're going through their progressions pretty quick. Everything's going to speed up during the game. But, I was talking, somebody was telling me about Levitt. I haven't really had a chance to get him known that well, but one of the things he did when he first got here is he really spent time with the coaches, and Levitt wanted to dig in on pass protection. Sure. And I thought that was a pretty mature way to go about it, right? Because you can go through the routes, but a smart quarterback's going to understand their protections and where, where you're vulnerable and when you're going to have time, and how that you build from the offensive line down the field. And so if he's really a student of the game, like everybody's saying, and understands his protections, it could be fun. The biggest change, Manuch, is these new helmet speakers, right?
Yes.
I mean, I've been talking to coaches like that. There's two things, that and iPads.
Yes.
So the coaches now have iPads on the sidelines, which means they can see exactly what a defense is doing on previous plays. You're going to be able to communicate to a quarterback. If you're a young quarterback, or you're a quarterback guru, Dan. I mean, being able to whisper and talk to the guy, hey, 2nd and 7, here's what I'm thinking. If the safety creeps, this is your check. Let's go to this play first, and if you don't like it, let's recover. You got 15 seconds that a communicator can talk to the quarterback and settle them down. It almost reminds me of playing chess with human beings now, because they're really not out there on their own making stuff happen.
Well, it's funny you said that. I said that the other day, is that for a young quarterback, you can say, okay, on this split right 63X post corner, read the safety. If not, come back to the dig route or the wide, whatever it is, so that, because you got 95 things you're thinking of as a young guy. Now, as a veteran like you were, your senior year, you pretty much can digress all that. But to have that extra 5 seconds of, okay, remember to watch the safety and watch the inside linebacker on this play, that's invaluable for a young guy.
It's fascinating. I just wish I was actually going to see if I could actually go listen in, like leave the broadcast for a series, listen in. But I would think, that it would cut down on interceptions, because you start to play situations, remind people. And I would think it would add another couple of points to your completion percentage. Man, I know Mike Martz would have liked to talk to me every play, and try to program me. And, coaches, what coaches hate is when somebody goes off script or there's ambiguity.
Yeah.
They have a chance to reset everybody, and you can reset everybody on offense or defense through the one person you're talking to.
Rapper, it's here. Aren't you ready? What's your we asked Charlie Regal, he comes on the show every Thursday, and I asked him what his game day routine is, and he said he gets out there, gets to the meetings, and then he goes home and goes to a burrito place, gets this burrito that he really likes, and then gets back to the stadium. Do you have any type of game day ritual
or superstitions?
No, I always like to walk on the field, and I like to see how big people really are and how much the media people lie. I like to see the warm-ups, who's starting, because everybody lies up from the media department on who's starting, because football is a game to lie.
Sure.
I mean, let's be honest. It's all deception. And then, the other thing is I want to see body types. I want to see, is somebody really long-limbed at defensive end, or are they just a guy? Like, you remember Stanford like 6-7 years ago? When they were loaded, at the end of the Harbaugh, when David Shaw was rolling, I went on the field, and Christy, my wife, came down, and we were looking around, and she just stops and she goes, "That is the biggest human being I've ever seen." And it was Walker Little, who is now the left tackle for the Jags. Yeah. And I just remember looking at the guy going, "Man, that is the best looking 330-pound person you're ever going to see." I mean, it was like a Clydesdale with shoulders stuck on it.
That's awesome.
And other guys you look at, it says they're 6'5", 320, and they're really 6'3", 350.
Yeah.
I like to see, kind of prove it to me. Let me see if my eyeballs see down low before I get up high on the press box.
Rapper, thanks for the time, buddy. Have a good weekend and have a good call tomorrow.
Hey, take care. You guys are the best.
Yeah, we appreciate
it.
That's Jeff Raaphorst joining us as the ASU radio color analyst. We're not sure how many years, but we can go to the Sun Devils website.
Long time.
Yeah. So anyway, don't forget to sign up for our fantastic tailgating sweepstakes brought to you by Twin Peaks, Blue Moon, and Coors Light. Text Peaks to 59925. Your chance to win an amazing grand prize, a Traeger grill, Blackstone griddle, a pizza oven, a cornhole set, a beer pong table, a projector with screen, all kinds of great stuff. Go to our website, rockmannews.com, to get all the information. But no purchase necessary. Just text Peaks to 59925. Standard message and data rates do apply, and make this football season unforgettable at Twin Peaks. Jack's Rewind is next. It's Rock and Manuch with Jimmy B. Fox Sports.